What's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal. Yes, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here with another episode of this show. Your singer? It's me and Singer. You know what I'm saying? It's us, the two of us.
Indeed.
What happened this week, Singer?
Concord, abysmal.
Abysmal
Black Ops
sales
6,
numbers. Yeah.
yes. Black Ops 6 beta launched. Hooray. Multiplayer saved. And
Really?
I mean, I would say it's, on the right track. If Space Marine 2 multiplayer hits, then yeah, multiplayer saved. But, Call of Duty did a really, really good job this year. That's all I'm going to say.
That's
Fair
good. I feel
portrayal.
like I hear people start off real positive about COD, and then it just like falls into the wayside when it actually comes out.
Well,
But yeah, go ahead.
it's like Activision still haven't sorted their servers. I don't know. The most played game of the entire year, and your servers are always ass in your beta. Um, and there's certain glitches in the game. Like sometimes the game will just randomly crash. Shout out to Call of Duty HQ, the biggest waste of space in game in existence. But like the beta in of itself, the gameplay, like it feels good to play. Like the omnidirectional movement, fantastic. It's so funny. Someone rushes up to you, you dive backwards and just spray them at the front. Um, it's the time to kill is a hell of a lot quicker. Like you will die in a matter of seconds. Someone runs around the corner, quick blitz, dead. So it's very fast. But hey, I am absolutely loving it. Call of Duty is back, especially after what I heard. Caveat: I haven't played Call of Duty since Black Ops 3, so it's been a long
Oh,
time.
okay. Yeah, so you can enjoy it more than someone who would, I would say,
Yeah,
play it every
play it
single
every.
time it comes out, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I was like, oh, it's Treyarch, it's Black Ops 6. Let me give it a go, and yeah, I'm back with Call of Duty. Call of Duty got me back with this game.
Nice. What about you?
Mm.
Me?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I can echo a lot of what Singer is saying. I'm really enjoying the beta so far. I think I like the movement even better than Modern Warfare 3. So you can see like it's a progression over the last three Call of Duties, which I took a long break from Call of Duty for a long time and came back at Modern Warfare 2 2 years ago. And that was fine, but like the movement was not great. And then with Modern Warfare 3, they really massively increased the movement with just reintroducing a lot of things that people were happy with movement about back into the game. But just movement in this game is far better than the previous two games, which is great. The maps are okay. There's like two maps I don't really care for, and then like the one map that looks like it takes place in like somebody's penthouse or something. That map is fantastic.
You mean I could guess the maps. Skyline, you love because I love it.
Yes,
Yeah, Skyline,
yeah,
the penthouse.
Skyline is
Yep.
it.
And the two maps you hate. One of them's gonna be Scud, right?
Yes,
Yep.
because Scud
Okay.
is really
And
all about
yep.
like who's
Mm-hmm.
holding the satellite dish, really.
Who? Yeah.
Um,
Who's got the snipers? Basically.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
people can camp that satellite dish and just see the entire battlefield and just shoot from
Mhm.
there, which is makes a boring match because it's really just about who's holding the satellite dish.
What's the
But
second bad map? I can't remember the name of it. Is it the?
it's like a junkyard with like trains everywhere.
Oh, I actually kind of enjoyed that. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed that map.
I think
It's like
what's the one called
hard
Derelict?
some derelict. That's the one, derelict. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand
And
that map.
and
But
the new map they released today with the shopping center. Did you try that one?
I
The like
haven't played
mall.
today. I've been kind
Oh,
of
okay,
under the
okay.
weather again. So this is like the second weekend in a row. I'm kind of not feeling good, but like under the weather again, and then dealing with a lot of family stuff. So I haven't
Hmm.
played anything today. So I haven't touched it. But uh, I'll probably try to get in sometime before I check out and go to sleep tonight.
Fair warning. I find team deathmatch, the map is ass. When it's objective mode, it's great, but team deathmatch, like there's so many different nooks and crannies and places you could jump out of, and like you could go into a room and you could get shot from 6 different ways, and people will just be camping in corners or run up behind you or spawn. Like the whole thing's a clusterfuck in team deathmatch. But if you play like hardpoint, it's actually a fun map. So.
Now, as far as weapons go, I think I'm not even thinking. I already know for a fact they're going to nerf that Jackal PDF.
Oh yeah, they're nerfing
everyone's using that. It's a SMG with the damage range of an assault rifle. It's got like very little recoil to begin with. Everyone's using it. It's going to get nerfed. By the time they do the open beta, it will not be as strong as it currently is right now. It reminds me of how the Striker SMG was last year in last year's beta for Modern Warfare 3, where everyone was using Striker. Striker was super, super strong. Yeah, so that's gonna get nerfed. But some of the other weapons that there aren't the Jackal are pretty good. I do have some issues. So like I said this was going to happen because this is typical Xbox, right? Never being forward thinking, never actually having all their stuff together and right. So like I play primarily Call of Duty on PC, and I have it through BattleNet because it's the version on PC that's the most stable. And so I have Modern Warfare 2 and 3 through BattleNet. Now I also have Game Pass Ultimate. So I'm thinking, how is this going to work? Because if I have Game Pass Ultimate, do I need to either install Call of Duty HQ again through the Xbox app where it literally just showed up when Modern Warfare 3 came in? Or are you going to be smart enough to be able to link accounts? You own BattleNet now. So there should be, it's not like Steam, where I understand why if you have the game through Steam or Call of Duty HQ through Steam, that you're not able to use play the Black Ops 6 beta, even if you have Game Pass Ultimate. You don't own Steam, but you do own BattleNet. So this doesn't make sense that like not only do in account management, do you ask me about all my accounts in BattleNet, I give you my Xbox credentials. It then does an entire thing where it starts checking my credentials. And I even saw it say, checked for Game Pass access confirmed. I'm thinking, I'm good. All right, there's no problem. It said I have Game Pass access. I have Game Pass. I should have no problems playing the Black Ops 6 beta through the BattleNet that you own. But nope, it don't work that way. It don't work at all, actually. So like it makes no sense that I have Call of Duty H2 installed through BattleNet and I can't use my Game Pass Ultimate sub for the beta, but I have to go install it through your Xbox app. And let me tell you, this thing crashed so many times. And it was crashing all the Xbox services I have on PC. So I was in a party with my friend Taz and his friend, and we were playing for a while, and then Forte joined us a little later, and we were using the Xbox Game Bar for Xbox Live Party Chat, and all of that stuff kept crashing. Every time Call of Duty HQ crashed, the Xbox app crashed, and then all the Xbox services crashed. So I had to leave the party, shut everything, not my whole PC down, but shut all, like go into Task Manager and in like services for everything Xbox related, start it all back up. I had to do that 3 times because the game kept crashing. None of this stuff happens with BattleNet. So why, like, this isn't just it's a Black Ops 6 beta slow-mo. No, this is the Xbox app is trash. And it's no surprise that having issues on the Xbox app is universally known now. I mean, it's just like, what are we talking about here? What are we doing here? Why can't y'all get this figured out? And if you own BattleNet, why don't you allow some of your people who actually have BattleNet and then also have Game Pass Ultimate to just play your damn game on BattleNet? But no, they didn't think about that. Probably didn't even cross their mind. But no, just go ahead and play our worst version of Call of Duty HQ over here. Typical Xbox.
Now, you see, I'm playing it through the Xbox app because obviously I have Ultimate, so I was like, I'll just play the beta through this. So I downloaded COD HQ through the Xbox app, and obviously did all the install and everything. And then it was like, oh, you need to install See, I didn't know COD HQ. I thought you could just install it and skip the Modern Warfare 3 stuff. Oh, no. You need to download Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer and campaign, even though I don't give a shit. So that's an extra 140 gigs I have to download when all I want is the Black Ops 6 and COD HQ, which is just 60 gigs. So now I'm up to 200 gigs. And I'm like, I just want to play a beta for a game that's coming out, and I have to download 200 gig. Whatever. Okay. So I was like, fine. Now, my experience on it, I've only, because we party up in the Discord, we don't use any of the Game Pass stuff. So I haven't run into
we had
any
to
of
switch
those
to
issues.
Discord. Yeah, we had to switch to Discord because every time I would get a
Discord.
crash, I couldn't talk to nobody no more. So we switched to Discord.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing, playing through Discord, and then you lobby up, and it crashes on the odd occasion. Like I could play, like it happened earlier. I played like 4 games, and then it crashed, but then I put it back up, and I could go for a couple hours, and then it'll just randomly crash again, and it's like, what the fuck is this? And there's all kinds of graphical glitches as well. Like sometimes when we lock party up, it disbanded our party earlier. So we had to re-party up again. Like
and that kind of stuff I expect out of a beta.
of course.
And partying up, I couldn't invite someone. Everyone, all of us had to just join someone that we saw online because inviting wasn't set up yet. I expect that in the beta. The Skyline map, it's supposed the house is supposed to be white, but like twice when I played that map yesterday, the whole house, everything that was supposed to be white was black. So it was just like kind of threw me off because like some of the stairs are white. So it's just like you can't really see the stairs that well. And it's just like it just kind of threw my vision off. But I mean, like little things like that, I expect. There are times where we knew this is like hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of people playing this game, but like matchmaking issues where like you just need one more person, and it's just like.
And it takes 10. The thing is, we get a game faster when we don't stack, when we have a full stack. Like, when we have a full stack, it takes a good little bit to find a game. And I'm like, but there's thousands of people playing this game. And loads of people have to be in stacks at 6, right? But apparently, I don't know, the matchmaking's all over the place. And before, I saw Rodema say about console in the chat. Funny thing is, someone we play with is playing off PlayStation. And he sent us a screenshot, and in the final winning circle, all the characters on there were just T-posing. They weren't doing any animations. The screen was glitching and freezing, and he's playing on PlayStation 5. And I'm like, you've got even worse problems than I have on the Xbox app. Like, I don't know. I expect it from a beta, of course. There's going to be. But I mean, overall, it's a fun game though. Like,
it's fun.
It's that I'd never play Warzone, but I play multiplayer and zombies. That's the main reason I want to play it is zombies because round-based zombies is back. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a fun experience. Try it if you've got Game Pass. It's worth it, I'd say.
Yep. Yeah, that's about it, Luca. Anything else you got any questions for us?
Yeah.
You want to play it with us, Luca? I mean, go on.
Yeah, you want to play it with us?
I'm not good at games, so
Shut up. Good God. Shut up.
You know what's funny? Because like as you're talking about like the game crashing on you, I already know that Taz was talking mad shit, whether in his head.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
I
no,
already
verbally. Not in his head. You
verbally.
know he couldn't
Okay.
keep it.
He was
Yeah,
like,
he
"You
was just like,
PC
wow.
fucking bums, man. This is what I be talking about, man. Don't you have an Xbox?" I know exactly.
Taz always does this, and occasionally you'll have some like weird issue, like on BattleNet. Like whenever there's an update, I normally need to just restart my entire PC because for some reason it doesn't let go of older data. To be completely frank about it, and so it'll like I'll be using too much RAM and too much VRAM after an update. And Call of Duty frequently does updates like on a weekly basis, so I would just restart the PC. And if I forget to restart, Taz would be like, "Oh, your PC issues, huh? But then he don't want to say that when he got issues because it's not like the game is flawless anyway. Activision, they do annual releases of this. There's always issues. There's always you're walking around with an invisible gun or some crap like that. So he has issues too. But it's just little jokes back and forth.
This is why I always have a problem with Call of Duty, because Activision must know that you have the biggest game of the year releasing every single year, and yet somehow your servers are never up to snuff. How would you not understand? Okay, we're going to be having X millions and millions and millions of people playing our game this year. Let's make sure our servers are good to go. Oh no, it's the house is on fire every single year at Activision, and you would have thought 10 years of that, they would have learned, but
Slackrow asked me what keeps people coming back to Call of Duty. I don't know if it gets stale for people. I would say it's it has the best movement of any first person shooter. There's that. It has the best support of any first person shooter as well. So if you are, and I disagree with Albert saying only casuals play Call of Duty, because the term casual is really like, people don't even know what the word casual means anymore. If everyone's playing it, then people consider the game casual, but that doesn't make sense. Casuals casually play something. You can't be a casual if you're spending more hours and time in a game than other hardcore are in playing all the other games that they play combined. You're not a casual. But people who are casuals who do play this, they normally play Call of Duty and then they quit after they get bum rushed, and then they just pick back up a year later. They're not the people who play the game consistently day in and day out, 365, every all year long. Those aren't casuals. But the people who enjoy Call of Duty, which is a lot of people, they feel like it's the best first person shooter that's out there. And for what it does, it has the best movement. I wouldn't say the best gunplay, but the gunplay is very good. And yeah, I mean, it actually does what the people want. And they're smart enough to do what Fortnite does, because Fortnite will implement things that they see as popular out in other live service games. And if it doesn't work, then they get rid of it. But if it works, then it becomes a part of the ecosystem. Call of Duty does the same thing. It's the reason why it's still really popular right now, because you think about what Call of Duty was a decade ago. Everyone was in there for the multiplayer. Now, 2/3 of the people who play Call of Duty are there for Warzone. And so Warzone, they decided to make a battle royale based off the popularity of Fortnite and then Apex Legends, and they saw where that was going. So they made their own thing. And they keep doing things like that. But when it doesn't work, like Call of Duty DMZ, which I really enjoyed, it was like a mode that was an extraction shooter mode. It was very well done, but nobody played it. And because nobody played it, they got rid of it. Last year, 2 years? 2 years ago, they came out with third person Call of Duty, which I thought was okay. I mean, I would play it every now and then, but it wasn't like my primary thing. But I know people who played it like that's all they played when they jumped on Call of Duty. wasn't enough people that was into it, they got rid of it, which is smart on their part. Why waste resources on something that people aren't playing? But that's why people keep playing COD, because they keep it fresh. It's the reason why, you got the same question about Fortnite. Why people keep playing Fortnite? A month
Because they
ago,
keep it fresh.
they keep it fresh. A month ago, they had these trash car meta thing that sucked.
Yeah,
And then now,
absolutely horrible. That was the
right,
worst decision by
yeah, and
Fortnite
now it's
ever.
fantastic. It's freaking fantastic now. It's
Oh yeah.
almost a completely different game. They got freaking Iron Man suits out there. People are levitating in the air and shooting
Jetpacks.
guns off their shoulders, jetpacks, Captain America shield, Doctor Doom lasers. They completely changed it. They flipped it, and it's awesome. And it's just Fortnite and Call of Duty. This is why they stay in the top 5 on every single platform in most play games, because they know how to keep their player base engaged, and they understand that if things get stale, you can lose them permanently if they find value in other games, and they actually can detach their mind from the thought of, oh man, if I stop playing this game, I feel like I've wasted all the hours and money that I got invested in this. If they can get over that and then play a different game, you probably will never get them back. So they make sure to keep their game current so that people never have that thought in their mind.
Thing is, I would argue though that Apex Legends has better movement than Call of Duty, but that's because it's based off the Titanfall movement system.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Titanfall movement system is just so running across walls and stuff. Oh man. Anyway.
Sweet.
All right.
Any other questions in the chat for the guys? No. Yeah. No. No. Okay.
I don't think so.
No.
Okie Smokey, go ahead. We'll talk. So apparently Black Myth Wukong. Okay, so I'm actually not sure about this. Some people are saying Black Myth Wukong is apparently like an exclusive with Sony, while other people are like, if it was an exclusive with Sony, who loves exclusives, why wouldn't they just say that? I'm like, yeah, that makes sense too. So what's going on with that, guys?
Honestly, I don't know, because it's like there's so many people who are saying, my source, and my source is reliable. My source said that it's an exclusive, and then there are other people like, well, my sources say that's not an exclusive, and it's the Series S's fault. Then it's the third person got no. My sources say Sony came in and paid to help fix the game, and they said, hey, now that we did that, why don't you just delay that Xbox version? And then there's I don't know. It's too many people with their sources, and I really, in the grand scheme of things, they ain't on Xbox. Whether it was money had it, whether it was a little rubber shoulder here or there. Hey, we helped you optimize the game, and since you did that, how about you just don't do any of the things that we showed you how to do on the Xbox? I don't know. I don't know how it's all like how this all played out. I think if anything, I had to give Game Science smoke for not being clear on why it's now on Xbox.
Yeah.
Just be clear on what it is. Come up.
I mean, they were clear on it. They said it was the reason they delayed it on Xbox was because of the Series S. They needed to.
They said that?
Optimize. Yeah, they needed to optimize on the game. Yeah, they said the reason it got held back is the Series S. The exact same reason Baldur's Gate 3 was held back from Xbox because of the Series S. Yeah, it's the same issue. The Series S is the problem. The thing is, even people who say, "Oh, but the deal could be under NDA." Well, no, because the FTC made Sony in the court thing disclose all their future and current exclusive deals to Microsoft. So they know all their exclusive deals coming up. So they wouldn't be allowed to hide it that way. But then on the opposite side, when has Sony never shouted from the rooftops and thrown it in big letters with shining lights all over it, like it's some billboard in the middle of New York City? saying this game is
Okay.
exclusive,
I have
or
the
this
statement
game has exclusive. Go on.
Yeah, I have the statement officially for now. It says, we are currently optimizing the Xbox Series XS version to meet our quality standards, so it won't release simultaneously with the other platforms. We apologize for the delay and aim to minimize the wait for Xbox users. We will announce the release date as soon as it meets our quality standards.
Mm-hmm.
And then Xbox said, we're excited for the launch of the Black Myth Wukong on Xbox Series X and S and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders, but we remain focused on making Xbox the best platform for gamers, and great games are at the center of that. So it seems, okay. That's also that, I think that official line, I think that is what Jez Corden from Windows Central got from Xbox. So
Yeah.
Game Science says they didn't say it was an Xbox Series S issue. They said it was an Xbox Series X and S issue.
Well, yeah, but
and that might lend towards this leaker, this Brazilian leaker. What is his name? EX Taz. I don't know. He's a Spanish Xbox leaker, but he said that he was told the game is reportedly suffering from a bug, a memory leak, essentially. And so, because the memory leak has not been found and patched out, that's why the Series X and S version is not out yet. So, look, if we just need to take Game Science for their word for it until we actually find that there was some shady dealings, and just hearing from someone who says, I heard it was really an exclusive thing. I mean, yeah, they may have heard that, and they're clearly not going to tell who their source is, but we just can't take that for face value. The actual developer said otherwise, and until they turn out to be liars, then it is what it is, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Shall we look at this article from Forbes?
Sure. Could you send me the link? Oh, you did already. Okay, I got it.
I just I just don't know what's going on, because I saw, like I said, I saw a bunch of people going back and forth about it on Twitter, and I was just kind of like, I just feel like if it was an exclusivity thing, like genuinely,
they would. I think Sony would be like, look at this exclusive we got back. like they would be definitely letting everyone know.
That's why I have problems. People thinking it's like some hidden exclusivity thing. Because you look at every game, Stellar Blade, they shouted it from the rooftops. All Final Fantasy Rebirth
I'm
shouted it
sharing
from
my
the
screen, by the
rooftops.
way.
16 shouted it from the rooftops. Any single exclusive is shouted from the rooftops. So they would shout this from the rooftops if they had it. Like, Sony isn't that bad.
All right. So you want me to read this?
1 second. Okay. So, Black Myth Wukong isn't on Xbox yet due to an exclusivity deal. This is from Paul Tassi over at Forbes. Listen, he says this is one of the stranger sagas of console exclusivity I've seen in quite a while, and now I've received new information that I consider the final word on the situation as to why Xbox does not currently have Black Myth Wukong available while the game has launched on PC and PS5. A source with specific knowledge of the situation has told me that, contrary to previous reporting, and even departing from Game Science's own statement, the reason why Black Myth Wukong is not currently on Xbox is due to an exclusivity deal, not because of some sort of technical issue causing a delay in the release of the game. IGN has also confirmed this same information. I was not told the duration of this exclusivity deal, but it does not appear to be permanent. It is also unclear as to why this has not been publicly disclosed, as these sorts of deals are usually public knowledge. Again, this also runs contrary to what Black Myth Wukong developer Game Science said, right? So basically, a statement that Slow-Mo just read off. This very much indicates a technical problem, but I'm secure in my sourcing that the reason is instead exclusivity. I'm attempting to clarify why Game Science made the statement if such a deal is in place and why it's being apparently kept under wraps. Instead, an exclusivity deal is much closer to what Microsoft had said publicly about the situation from the start, which is what someone also read. Let's see here. The statement citing deals made with other platform holders very much point to an exclusivity deal with Sony and does not mention optimization or any sort of technical issue. A recent insider claimed a memory leak was responsible. So yeah, basically the same thing you're saying, right? So yeah, I mean, how valid is Paul Tassi when it comes to his sources?
I think he used to be right on the money with anything Destiny related, but outside of that, I don't really know how good his sources are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether his information is always rock solid in any other gaming related topic. That said, like he's basically saying his source said there was exclusivity, and he's citing Xbox's statement as kind of the signs that Xbox knows it is a exclusivity deal and not a whatever the heck that Black Myth Wukong developer Game Science said. If that is really the case, and considering what the FTC told Sony that any timed exclusive deals they make have to be disclosed, why wouldn't Xbox call that out?
Yep.
Because if they're doing something that is technically illegal, you then can now skirt whatever rules there are for a timed exclusive deal and then actually say that that's what this is. And they're not being truthful, both Game Science and Sony, in regards to what's happening, but that's not what they're saying. You don't need to be vague about that if they're breaking the rules by the FTC. And clearly, as we've seen, as the FTC has been quick on a lot of things, like when Microsoft raised the price of Game Pass, FTC was quick to say, hey, you said you wouldn't do that. So why aren't they quick to go, hey, Sony, you're not supposed to do that, if that's really the case? Like, I just think that if this was really a timed exclusive thing, Sony would be marketing the game that sold the most out of any other game this year. They would be marketing that even more. So,
yeah, I mean, like I said, I agree with you. It doesn't make any sense for them to hide it unless it's specifically something Game Science was like, we don't want people to know that we signed an exclusivity deal with y'all. I don't know anything about that studio enough to give an opinion one way or another.
Yeah, this is like their
And
first AAA game. Everything else they've done before this has been like mobile related. They're like former Tencent developers, I believe. So yeah, this is the first time.
Also,
they
it's
made
like,
something this big.
I mean, at the end of the day, and Ramon mentioned in the chat, he's like, "Oh, they're calling the devs liars." I'm like, developers lie all the time,
True,
like
very true.
But they can't.
30
lie
FPS
about
is
it.
better. Slomo, is 30 FPS better?
Not at all.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think the difference is they can't lie about this, because this goes beyond. Because if it is true that this happened, then Microsoft could just go straight to him and go, "Okay, we'll take you to court. See you later, bye," and we could do something about it. So Sony ain't gonna be about that. They're gonna be like, okay. So I really don't think it is. And why would Game Science lie? Because if it comes out that they lied, then it's gonna be downhill for them. So
I don't think it'll be downhill.
I don't think it'll be downhill for them. They may get a slap on the wrist, but like to be frank, and people going in the chat are going to hate me saying this. Xbox is irrelevant. The only reason this happened is because Xbox is irrelevant. Okay, let's take Game Science for face value. Let's say they're telling the truth. It is a optimization issue. It's a memory leak from what the Spanish leaker said. Let's say that's true. Let's flip the platforms. Let's say this happened to Sony. Do you think Game Science releases the game? It's ready for Xbox. It's ready on PC. It's not ready on PlayStation. You think they launched then? I don't think so. I for a platform that's outselling the Xbox 5-1 right now, I don't think they released that game on Xbox and PC, and that's it. Yeah, they're still going to get the massive amount of sales they got off of Steam anyway, but they're going to want to put that on the biggest platform on console. And so the reason why it launched without Xbox and why games continue to launch without Xbox is they don't feel like it's taking that big a hit to make sure it's ready on Xbox. And that's due to the performance of Xbox in the console market. Then let's also kind of look at it from the other side of it. Let's say there really is an exclusive deal. Again, because Xbox is irrelevant, is the reason why Sony can make these kind of deals so easily. It does not. If both Xbox and Sony went to the same developer and said, we want to make your game, timed exclusive on our platform, what's the price? The price Xbox has to pay is way higher than the price that PlayStation has to pay, because what that developer estimates their sales to be on PlayStation and Xbox are vastly different numbers. And so for them to say that, hey, to miss the initial, 90-day period where games typically sell the most on this platform, this is my number. Microsoft ain't feeling like paying that number for every single game that's out there that might miss their platform. But Sony can. So, yeah.
Okay, so I actually just had a slightly different perspective. I was just gonna say that they made enough sales on Black Myth Wukong for it to not be a problem. That's why they wouldn't go downhill if it turned out. Damn, what was your initial statement, Singer? That if it turns out if they lied, that it would be downhill for them. Was that what you said?
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because of the whole legal issue with the FTC and Sony. They
Oh,
can't
that
hide the
makes
deal.
sense. Okay.
So if they
No, that
hide
makes
the
sense.
deal, game science would be dragged into it because they're colluding with Sony by making up a bullshit statement and not revealing the truth, which is what Sony should have done. So they would get dragged into it.
Okay,
'Cause
maybe. No, I understand
I'm
what you're
just
saying. No, I understand what you're
yeah.
saying. But yeah, I just I think that I don't know actually. I really don't know. Again, it just comes back to the why of it all. And okay, Ramon, that makes sense. I understand what you're saying. But it just goes back to the why of it all. It's just kind of like if why hide it? It doesn't make any sense. There has to be like a reason, like a viable reason for them to hide it if they're hiding it, right? I'm not
Right.
saying that it's not happening. I don't actually I I follow Paul Tassi and I read his articles occasionally, and I just can't recall a time where he like broke news. You know what I'm saying? He's usually just giving his
Mm-hmm.
opinion on things that happen, or he's just reporting something that happened. He's not typically someone who's like I see as a leaker, you know? So it's like for me, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, do I doubt that he has um sources? No, I don't doubt that at all. I just don't understand what the possible reason could be other than no, I can't think I mean, it would have to be game science not wanting them to put that information out there, not Sony. Sony wouldn't hide something like this. Like again, like Singer said they couldn't, but also like Slomo and Singer and I've been saying Sony is all for the exclusivity deals. There's no reason like and this is like one of the most highly praised games that have come out in some time. It is the most a game that's selling very well, right? So it's regarded quite well, I would say. So I can't imagine that Sony would want to hide that, like, oh, play it here, you know what I'm saying, like that kind of thing. Um, because it's like contrary to behavior they've displayed in the past, it just wouldn't make any sense, you know. So as far as I feel about it, I am just willing to wait and see for more information. I think Jazz said something on Twitter about something about it as well, but whatever. So yeah.
Paul, some people feel Paul has he had a statement or a tweet following up things that people believe is like essentially him trying to backtrack on what he said. And so this was he sent this tweet yesterday morning. He said, based on what they're saying, and this was Jeff Grubb seemed to push back on what Paul Tassi has said, saying that no Sony money marketing deal keeping the Black Myth Wukong off Xbox. And Nick from I forgot where Nick's from. Xbox era, right?
Reset era? No, reset. Xbox, yeah. Xbox.
Yeah, Xbox era. He said there was a misunderstanding around this stuff. I heard Sony only paid to help get the port done, no exclusivity. So Paul responded to that stuff going out saying, I have a lot of respect for Nick and Jeff. I would not have published without what I consider to be an extremely authoritative source. Frustrating to not be able to say more. The situation has been described to me as bizarre, which I can certainly agree with at this point. Then he followed that up by saying, based on what they're saying, it seems possible a temporary exclusive deal was done for paying to get a port done on PlayStation side without paying for a traditional marketing deal. Clearly, marketing is not involved. Specifically told, it's not a tech issue for Xbox causing delay. So he seems to be leaning more towards what Nick said, that they paid to get the port done. And if that is the case, then I don't know. But it looks like, I don't know if that's quite Paul backtracking on what he said, because he seems to be trying to like take what Nick's sources are saying and kind of like mesh that into what he was saying. But I don't know, man.
Yeah,
It's a whole messy situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see Paul occasionally getting into it with people on social media. And I used to watch his Destiny videos. I don't really have a good read on his personality quirks, mostly because I don't care. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I will say I am more likely to take Jeff Grubb at his word rather than Paul Tassi, because Jeff actually has a track history and a track record of breaking certain things, as he does on his Game Mess thing. I mean, he's been wrong before, of course, but all of them have. But he's got a lot of stuff right, so I'd be more willing to, if he said this is what my sources are saying, I'd be like, okay, because you actually have some valid sources and you've come up with some good information. Paul Tassi, he was good enough for Destiny 2, but outside of Destiny 2, he doesn't have the same track record, so I'm more likely to go with what Jeff is saying rather than what Paul Tassi is saying.
But would Paul actually publish an article if he wasn't sure? Because he normally does, like I said, he'll report news, but he doesn't break it, right? So I can't imagine that he would write something if he feels like, I don't know. But shout out to Gotti with the super chat saying, Luca, what's up, Gotti, my boy? Yeah, I just can't imagine. I don't know. It's like I said, Paul Tassi typically reports on the news and gives his perspective and opinion on things. He doesn't break the news, right? So I guess I'm just a little not torn, but I'm just kind of like, well, I'm curious as to see what the actual reasoning is, like why this is becoming like a plot point when the initial conversation was about technical limitations, right? I'm assuming it would have been for the ESC, right? So
well, I mean, that's what stopped Baldur's Gate 3.
yeah.
So, which is another big game that Xbox seems to miss out on. You know, the biggest games of the year. You had Baldur's Gate 3, and now you have Wukong. I don't know. You would have thought you'd try and secure it. I mean, to be fair, no one knew Wukong was going to be that big, and I had no idea Baldur's Gate was going to be that big, because typically that is a PC genre of game, the top-down RPG thing. So the fact it blew up the way it did on consoles was really, really surprising. So I don't think you could have predicted these two games blowing up. But
Okay, well, it is what it is. We'll have to wait and see for more information on that matter. I mean, okay, so what's better? Like, it being an exclusivity deal or it not being on the system because of technical limitations? Does it matter when
It
the end
doesn't really
result is the
matter.
same?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I don't think it matters when the end result is the same, and which is just it's just not on Xbox, which I'm curious. I wonder how. Go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay. So
Well,
speaking of,
oh, go on.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Rodo said Digital Foundry said there was nothing. The thing is, it's like I can understand the technical limitations because if you think of the limitations on the PS5 and Xbox, on the PS5, it's like performance mode is 1080p, fake 60 FPS. So like that's the reality on the more beefier console. So the Series S would probably be 30 locked, and you'd probably be at 720p, probably. I mean, 1080p quality mode, even if you get a choice of modes, like it's gonna require a lot of time to optimize for the Series S. Because look at the way it's running on the bigger boy consoles. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking briefly of technical limitations, well, the PS5 Pro seems to have been leaked, right?
Luke, I'll be right back. Just
Sure.
something.
Okay. The PS5 Pro has been leaked, seemingly leaked, right? And honestly, I mean, it looks fine. Like, it looks exactly like the PS5. It's just kind of like whatever. It's just like a slim PS5, right? What's up? Does it have a no physical hard drive for
They haven't said. I would imagine people are thinking there'll be two SKUs. There'll be a digital version, and then you will buy the drive separately if you want it. So, like an external drive.
Oh, okay.
So you'd pay like 600 for the base console, and then
Allegedly,
600.
right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be around that price. Like, if you're thinking it's gonna be 500, I have a bridge to sell you. Um, because for what you're getting, and they'll tack on the hard drive, and they'll probably charge you what 70 for the drive. So
God damn. Which is like they're robbing blind if that's the case, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, they could do a bundle where the drive is bundled with it for like
that
650
sounds so stupid.
to save you some money. God, trust
That's
me,
fucking dumb, dude.
they'll do a bundle with the drive. Watch, they'll be like,
Mm.
get Death Stranding 2 and the PS5 Pro and the disc drive for like 680 or whatever. Something like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, so that's been leaked. Everybody knew that this was coming, so it's like whatever. I never understand what these technical specs are talking about when it comes to consoles because I don't care. So, is this going to be better, like significantly better than the PlayStation 5
No,
base?
it's gonna be a little bit better. Games that were a bit unstable will be stable. Because the thing is, we don't know how good their super sampling is. Their version of super sampling, we don't know how good. It could be as good as DLSS, or it could be like the older versions of FSR, which is slightly worse. It's gone better now. So we have to see how good that does. But even then, that really isn't going to solve the problem because the only upgrade is the CPU is being overclocked. And I overclock my CPU. If you're on a PC, you're probably overclocking your CPU because you want more performance. But it's only overclocked, it's 10%. And that's good for like, I don't know, 5 frames. So a game that was, dipping, wasn't holding 60. Let's say it was dipping to like 50s, it would hold 60 now. So games that couldn't hold 60 would now hold 60. Like, you're not getting 120 FPS and everything. You're not getting like 80 in everything. Like that's not what this is. So I would say, stability is what you're getting out of these games. More so.
Oh, that's nice. I think stability is very important when it comes to your experience with playing a game. Enough for me to buy another PlayStation? I don't think so, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'll probably skip the Pro. I'm not a hardcore gamer at this point, so there's no point in me getting it myself, you know? But, mm, is there any way you'd ever buy a PlayStation, Singer?
If they could offer me more than one game that I actually like, this is the problem I have with PlayStation. It's like I couldn't. I eventually got around to getting a PS4, but that was years later, years at the end of the generation, and that was because I wanted to play Persona 5 Royal. And at that point, I was willing to pay 100 for the console, right? But I don't care about their exclusives, and the games I care about have come to PC. So it's like, I mean, in reality, all the JRPGs that get missed off Xbox I get on PC anyway. So there really is no reason for me to own one. So
Mm,
I mean, they have to give me a reason.
what if the next
More than one.
Persona is exclusive?
It's not. It's everywhere. They've already said it's everywhere. PC, PlayStation,
No, I guess there's no
and
reason then,
Xbox.
man.
There really is no reason for me. Like
For you,
as
yeah.
as cool as Final Fantasy is, it's not that franchise for me anymore. It was cool back in the day, but after Final Fantasy 15, they lost me. So yeah.
I feel like that's valid. Yeah, so people in the chat, oh, my back. People in the chat are saying $600. Some people saying 500. Someone's saying 649 to 750. Oh, that's interesting. I don't, considering what it seems to be like a relatively okay bump in power, I cannot imagine them pricing this over $600. I can't. It doesn't make sense for them to do that, right?
I mean, I'm willing to bet it's between 600 and 700. Like, it's not going to go above 700. But I'm willing to go out on 600. It's not going to be 500. So, because if you release it at 500, you are now clashing with your base model, right?
Yeah, unless they drop the price of the base.
And they're not. If anything, they've raised the price. So, in Japan, at least. So, I mean, with the way they're selling, they don't want a conflict with the base model. So, either they're gonna heavy discount it, which I don't think they will, because they have no reason to. They're still selling incredibly well. So, put it to 600, and the enthusiasts will upgrade to it. So yeah. I think that's the way it is. It's the same thing the PS4 Pro did. PS4 Pro only accounted for 20% of all PS4 sold. The other 80% was the base model. So,
Oh. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. To me, I understand what you're saying exactly. Yeah, like I said, listen, putting it $700. That's putting it in some of the higher end portable handheld, like PC handhelds, right? How much was that ROG Ally X I just
Rock
released?
Ally is like what?
$800 or something?
Yeah, something like that. Let
Like
me
I
double check.
I cannot imagine something that has a marginal update or upgrade, that is, if these specs are to be believed, costing $100 less than that ROG Ally. Let's look it up. ROG
Oh,
Ally.
it's 800 for me
Oh yeah,
in
it's
the
800.
UK.
Yeah, it's 800, and then like that Lenovo. Oh brother, let me look this up. Lenovo Legion Go is 600, $700, $700 basically. Yeah, I just guys, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not buying it right now. Like literally I'm not buying it, but I'm also not buying the idea that it's like more than $600. Plus, once you start getting past that $600 mark, you're hitting unstable territory, I would say even unreasonable territory. I know that gaming is an expensive hobby, but as it stands right now, folks are fucking broke. You know what I'm saying? Like things are looking a little spooky for folks.
Well, I
So
mean, it's
yeah, go ahead.
600 you could get away with, like, because the hardcore PlayStation boys will go out and support.
Yeah.
And that is who the PS5 Pro is for. If all you're playing is Fortnite, FIFA, and Call of Duty, you're happy with the base PS5 and GTA if you're playing, because GTA will be 30 FPS on consoles anyway, regardless if you have the Pro or the base. So you're gonna get 30 either way, so you may as well just stick with the base. So yeah.
Yeah, I understand. No, I understand it's a premium product. I just, damn, how premium is premium? That being said, there's plenty of companies that sell sell their
Shout out
products
to
at a
Apple.
I know, fucking Apple, dude, fucking Apple. Shout out to them. Plenty of companies that sell their
Shout
systems
out
or
to Nvidia.
yeah, at a premium,
Mhm.
and their shit is trash, technically speaking. So it's outdated trash. I love my fucking Apple phone, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm a little Apple whore, but I work in tech, so I'm not an idiot when it comes to technology, you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
Yeah, Leaky knows Nvidia.
ingredient, yes.
Yeah, because they love jacking up their prices when it comes to new graphics cards. Shout out to them. See, this is what happens. See, what I've noticed is they were the Nvidia, Apple, and Sony are all in the same boat. They're the big boys of the market share in all their respective categories. And if you noticed, they're all basically doing the same thing. Apple jacks up its prices, Nvidia jacks up its prices, and I'm sure Sony will jack up its prices. Because when you have no competition to speak of, what are people going to do? I mean, sure, Samsung is competition for Apple, but
Yes.
like, if you look at the price difference, you wouldn't have thought so, right? And the worst part is,
There's
Apple
not
will
too
charge.
I don't think there's too big of a price difference between their
What?
models at this point.
What's the latest Samsung?
Bro, I don't fucking know.
I mean, there's probably a couple of hundred between them.
Samsung, I don't think so. I think, or maybe it is. Maybe, damn, I would have to see what it dropped at. I can't remember. Um, Samsung. Yo, what's the latest Galaxy, y'all? Is it okay? Let
I
me just
think
do a
it's the
bigger.
S24, right? Yeah,
I
S24.
don't know.
Yeah, S24 Ultra is 1,250 for me. What's the latest iPhone?
15.
Pro Max.
That's
Yeah.
the big one. Yeah. But
Well,
the
I'm assuming that's the top of the line one, right? Because that's what the Ultra is.
yeah, I would say. The Ultra?
Well, then, yeah, the Samsung S24 Ultra.
Ultra. Damn, I am like, let me just go ahead and look at it.
Because if they're kind of in the same, the Pro Max is like 200 more than the Samsung over here, from what I
Yeah.
can see.
So not
Close enough.
yeah, I would say. I know that it's very interesting. I don't think this was your intention at all, but it's interesting. People still view Samsung as like a
I do.
cheaper. Mhm.
Well, I do. Well, I'm a Samsung guy. Like,
Oh, yeah. Are you? I was gonna say as cheaper as in not as high end. Like if you get a
which is
Samsung
weird,
phone, yeah, it's very strange behavior. Like if you get a
especially
Samsung,
considering they normally have better features than Apple
yeah,
does.
well,
yeah.
the thing is,
Like if
they
you
do
get
it. Go on.
okay, if I could just finish, guys. But if you get a Samsung phone, people tend to view that as like there's still people who are like, ugh, green text when you text folks, which I used to do that stuff too. I was just fucking around though, but who knows? But yeah, it's still like there are still people who will call you poor for buying a a Samsung high-end phone, and it's like it's literally a couple $100 off. What are you talking about? And it has more features. It's better, technically speaking. So it's strange. It's very strange, but that's the power of mind share and marketing. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make people
Hmm.
believe anything that you want because most people aren't going to look into. They're not going to look into it. So
Yep. True.
what do you think about the Pro Slomo?
I think it's going to be $650.
Ooh,
I
okay.
think that
I am the month.
excuse me. Sorry, I just had a Red Bull. Sorry about that. I think it'll be 650, and I think that it won't sell that much. But I think they know that based off of how the PS4 Pro sold, that it's not going to sell like a shit ton of copies. Like 10 to 15% of the people who are going to be buying PlayStations will get it. So there's a target demographic there. But I think that the pisser upscaler, I think that will be exclusive to it. I think from what we've been hearing, they've been kind of like really kind of pushing developers making games on PlayStation to have modes that will be available for it, so that, you know, to kind of take advantage of the better technology there. But I mean, you're gonna get people who are gonna be like, "Yep, sold. I'm gonna trade in my PS5, get $300 off of that with GameStop. Then I'm gonna go get that, and I've spent like $350 or something like that," and they feel justified with it, which is fine. But I don't think it's going to be that big a leap or anything like that. I mean, mid-gen refreshes normally aren't a huge leap. This ain't gonna be much different.
Okay. Are you interested in getting it?
No. The only mid-gen refresh I've ever gotten was the Xbox One X, and considering where I was coming from with the Xbox One VCR, that was a piece of garbage. Yeah, that was a much needed refresh. But all the rest of them really are just taking advantage of people who want the latest and greatest, which is fine for you know, if you're someone who is into that and doesn't mind spending $300-400 on something that you really don't need, but you're going to get a little bit of bump in resolution, potentially better frames, but your CPU is largely the same. It's just overclocked. So you're for games that are CPU limited, that are very CPU heavy, you're not going to get better frame rates. You'll just get like slightly higher resolutions. So I for me, it's not worth it. So I'm not getting it.
No,
I
that's
will keep the PS5, and that'll be that. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like that's very valid. Your feelings on the matter. I I don't feel like there's any reason to upgrade at this point. I still think it's a mistake that Xbox isn't coming out with anything to combat them, but it's whatever at the same
I
time.
think they forego that. I think they forego a mid-gen refresh to launch their next generation whatever sooner than PlayStation. Which, if they actually cared about hardware or still cared about hardware, I think that would be smart on their part, because launching at the same time as PlayStation has never been a good look for them. And coming out at a time where PlayStation isn't having something that say, "Hey, we're within a hair's difference of power, and we got better games or all the games, so just come over here," you know, and people just ignore Xbox. So if they really got like the biggest technological leap in consoles ever coming out in 2026, then, you know, maybe that's the better bet for them. But I don't really think they care about hardware like that no more. So I don't really know if it matters for them. Yeah.
No, that's valid. That makes sense. I don't know. I feel like I don't know what Xbox is doing at this point, to be honest. But how can you know when Phil lies all the time? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fucking
Mm-hmm.
know. You know, he's always lying or like omitting the truth or whatever. So, or I mean, I would say flat out lying, but that's just me, right? But um, it is what it is. Again, is anybody in the chat gonna pick up the PS5 Pro, or does it depend on how much it costs? Is that a factor for you? I'll be honest with you. I would buy like one of those mobile handhelds before I would get a PS5 Pro. Another one that is. Even though my go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, considering when you mentioned about like how Phil lies, and their messaging seems to change every 2 years. So this year they doubled down on, you know, in Phil was at GDC talking about handhelds and looting the handhelds, and Sarah Bond's comments. Considering that they change their statements and their direction every 2 years, it wouldn't surprise me at all if 2 years from now, when said Xbox, from all what the insiders say, that this new Xbox will launch, if they just decided to not do hardware at all no more. I mean, 2 years ago, they were saying that they acquired Bethesda to bring exclusive games to Xbox. How'd that turn out? So who's to say 2 years ago they just decide, what's the purpose of doing hardware now? I mean, if you think about it.
They didn't even give themselves the chance to compete. I feel like
Exactly.
if they had actually stuck to their guns, but they just I think they spent too much money. I think that's what the issue is, right? Too much money in terms of like, Microsoft is a profit. I mean, all businesses are like that, right? But like, they're like, this is not justifying the cost. But yeah, they didn't even give it the chance. I think if they had given it the chance, you know how many years I was saying like, this is the year for Xbox, guys? You know how many years I fucking said that shit? Oh Lord. But I feel like if they had just given it the chance and actually had the games be exclusive, and yeah, it could have prompted people to buy the console because there were some interesting titles that were on Xbox, but everything's everywhere now, and they're going their own direction when it comes to this stuff. So it's just it kind of is what it is, right?
I think they could have really turned it around if they would have stayed exclusive. I mean, you got Starfield. I think Starfield turned heads. And then, Hellblade 2 is like a graphical showcase, but it was a niche game before they acquired the studio. So, of course, it not going too far away from what the core foundation of the game was, it would remain niche. But then you got Indiana Jones later this year. You got Avowed. You got Fable supposed to be coming next year. Fable looks like it's really going to be something. Like, if you would have kept all this exclusive to Xbox and PC, I think you could have got a good number of PC gamers to say, all right, I'll get PC Game Pass and get these games. You could have got a lot of console gamers to just get yourself an Xbox just for those exclusives. Especially if you would have, kept to your guns about these games not going everywhere else. But the moment they sent one game, the PlayStation and Nintendo, all that's off the table.
Yeah,
and look where we are. Double-digit negatives every quarter when it comes to hardware sales. Now imagine that keeps up for the next year and a half. We're going into 2026. Imagine next year, after already having double-digit negative hardware sales compared to 2023, if you're doing that again next year, like, what are those actual numbers? That you're still, like, you're doing worse than your worst year. When Xbox leadership that made all those promises about where their games are going to be, and we're working on hardware. I mean, we know who cares about that and who doesn't care about that. Who doesn't care about that is Satya Nadella. He care about software. He care about subscriptions. He care about no damn hardware. So if he's like, y'all really think this is going to sell? Because your Xbox Series consoles don't sell. So why do you think this is going to sell? If that becomes the argument, it could be, hey, we said 2 years ago we were going to bring you more hardware. Well, things change. It's a business. That's the statement they make now every time people bring up them lying or them changing direction. It's a business. I guess that's supposed to just make up for lying to people, but whatever. So it's a business. We ain't making hardware no more.
Yeah.
And
happy birthday, John. How you doing, buddy? Appreciate you being
man.
here. Happy birthday. He's almost in the 30s club, the dirty 30s club. I can't wait to welcome you to the back pain and gray hair. I have gray hair now. So, which is okay.
You do?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, it's one strand, but yeah.
It's great. You know, I just it's great. It's good. It's good. You know, embrace your grays.
I don't have any issues with aging because I don't age, in terms of how I look, so it's like whatever, you know?
Well, you're
No
gonna
one in
be
my family does, so
you'll be like me when I was 32. This I don't really buy alcohol like this no more. But like when I remember I was 32 and I was buying a 6-pack, and because I look young, but I had like gray in my goatee and gray in my hair. Like the clerk was just staring at me like he didn't know whether to card me or not. He was just like, he just outright said it. Like, I don't, how old are you? I was like, really? 32. He was just like, oh, okay, because the gray hair is happy. All right, it's fine. Hey, you just give me your card. It's fine. I was laughing the whole time. I thought that was funny, but you'll get that, Luca. You'll still get those.
Oh,
You'll be
yeah,
like, oh,
I think it's fun. I enjoy I enjoy it. It's when I was, hanging out with some of those girls, they were like, "Yeah, we thought you were, like, 25 or something." I'm like, "Oh, that's thank you. I'm significantly older than all of you," you know? I'm the old lady in the group, so yeah, I don't mind aging. I think aging is a gift, actually, because the opposite there's the opposite, you know? So, I
mm-hmm.
think that, you know, I'm definitely okay with it. My god, the growth I've had, you know? Not physically, but mentally. So, alright, okay, let's talk about these Concord sales. Shit's looking super spooky, and Concord is estimated to have only sold 25,000 units, okay? Here's why analysts think it's failing. So it's weak marketing, a high price point, a lack of distinguishing characteristics doomed Sony's multiplayer hero shooter. This is an article from what website is this? IGN? Hold on. Yeah, an article from IGN by Rebecca Valentine. So, listen, apparently Concord's numbers on Steam. What are the numbers today? Concord numbers.
Oh, good grief. Last time I heard it was like below 100, which that's just kind of hard to
Yeah,
take.
currently 105 people in game. You're running into the same
113.
people over and
Yep,
over and over
actually.
again. You're not getting anybody else, all right? It's gonna be that small community just getting together, you know? So yeah, 25,000. Okay, so let's talk about this once again. Let's discuss this once again. What were they thinking with this title? You know, like I feel like the people who were in charge of getting this title out there just did not seem to understand the appeal of hero shooters, right? Um, and then making it $40 is just kind of like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? This was never gonna do well, you know?
Yeah, they don't understand these markets. That's what they were thinking. Well, and then not what they were thinking. That's just the truth of it. They don't really understand these markets. They thought that, hey, $40 is not bad, and you can't treat the PC gaming community the way you treat the console gaming community. $40 to get into a game isn't. That's not like bad at all, especially if like the game is something that you could say, all right, so it doesn't have a campaign, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have like a bunch of different modes, so you wouldn't charge that like a full price game. But what what the people who typically like those kind of games look for, you don't have those things, and so that's why you have the kind of sales you have. Clearly, I think this game has probably sold more on PlayStation 5, but not like so much more that it's offsetting how much of a failure it is on the sales front. So yeah, it's kind of DOA on the PC.
Yeah.
If you're, I played it with Forte the other
Oh
night.
yeah? How is it?
Mhm. Well, I mean, we
Oh,
got in and out of matches pretty quickly.
I
which is
would
fine.
imagine. Okay.
uh, Forte, it took a little while for him to get adjusted to how the game plays, but as I was like, he would pick a character and be like, "So what's this character about?" Now explain it, and he would play with the character for a while, like, "Oh, okay, all right, cool." Then he'll switch to someone else. Then I explained the whole my crew aspects, how they pass their passive abilities over to the next character you choose, and he was like, "Oh, okay, that's different." And he basically was just like, "Yeah, I mean, it plays well, and it's a decent, like, the gunplay is decent, and it's got decent gameplay, but yeah, these characters are hideous." And really, when you think about like the majority of the complaints about the game, that's really what it comes down to. And I know there are like a whole segment of people who hate to hear that, and like, gameplay is supposed to be king. It's supposed to be king, supposed to be. But you can't get people to play the game to see the gameplay is good when they don't even want to look at the characters. They don't want to play your game. They're not, and that's the upfront cost of $40. That's what that's going to do. That's going to be a major deterrent for people who already are like, that's what these characters look like. Like it's just not going to work out. And I think how Sony planned the rollout and the marketing of this game was also a problem, because if you think about, was it 2 years ago we first saw the first trailer for Concord, right?
I think
And it was
when we saw the trailer, I was like, guys, I just feel like we're all really jaded when it we see, because I was like, this is not good. This is not good. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's just the trailers told you nothing. It was a ship like going into like hyperdrive or something with a sandwich falling off a table. It was just like, what is this? I don't know if this is first person, third person. I don't know if it's got a campaign or it's PvP. You didn't know nothing about it. And that's all you knew for 2 years. And then earlier this year, they showed you finally what the game was, but the first thing they showed you was like a 2-minute trailer that really is, I think, the main reason why people feel Guardians of the Galaxy, because you had these aliens that were acting kind of goofy and wacky in this little like restaurant diner or whatever, and then they started running around shooting at each other, falling off of buildings. And then you see gameplay where most people were like, "Oh, this looks like Destiny. Oh, this looks like Overwatch. What is this? Is this a hero shooter? What are we looking at?" It's like, what is the point of this marketing campaign? Like, I don't think they had one. I think they were just trying to sell people on like a story and these characters. But like, it's maybe they looked at what Overwatch did before Overwatch came out and thought we can emulate that. But
How long was this game in development?
8 years, but I don't think so. Everyone keeps talking about that. I don't think it was in active development for 8 years.
So
I
they
think
could
it
have
was
had
like,
time to be like, no, let's just backtrack on this.
yeah, because like people talk about how long Cyberpunk was in development. And they was like, "Oh, Cyberpunk was in development since like 2013 when they first showed like a screenshot of some girl with the claws, with the mantis claws."
That trailer was so fucking good with the music and
Yeah.
everything. Oh my
But
god,
look,
it was
they had no
amazing.
game there. They
I
were
know,
not in
I know.
yeah, it's just like the game didn't really get into development until after they were done with all the expansions for Witcher 3. So think about when all that stuff got done, and then think about when Cyberpunk finally came out. And it's like, yeah, that game needed 2 more years, just like the dev said. And people keep shouting, "It's been in 8 years of development." And I'm like, do you know what 8 years of development probably really was? 5 of those years was probably 5 guys drawing these ugly ass character design. So it's just like, it's not it's not full on production where they're making and building the game, for 8 freaking years. It's just, that's not how this works. So
Oh, okay. Well, I was more so
yeah,
saying like
not
maybe
saying
they
that to
had
you.
to.
I'm just saying in general. Yeah.
Oh yeah. More so they had like a theme that they wanted to stick to that they thought was gonna work out, and then by the time they figured out like, "Oh, I don't think this is gonna work anymore," they had to follow through, they didn't have a choice. Maybe that kind of thing.
Yeah. I do think that Sony really thought this was going to work though. That this would be like their Overwatch. This would be their hero shooter. But they just don't know why people who play hero shooters play hero shooters.
Mm, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
shout out to Ronald. What's up, my boy? He's saying Sony was desperate to get those acquisitions and was tricked by those snake oil studios. Hashtag fair games up next. Oh man, come on. I'm sure everything will be perfectly fine and everything will work out, guys. But 10,000 units on Steam and 15,000 on a PlayStation, fucking abysmal. Those are just some horrendous sales, you know what I'm saying? I wish I could say I felt bad, but I don't. I don't really feel bad for the developers on this one. Like, this is just like there's just nothing appealing about this to me, you know? Just nothing. And I would like to find some game to play with the boys. Mm. But yeah, anyway, we can just
We
move
could
on from
play
that.
the First Descendant.
Oh yeah, we could play that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could play some Black Ops 6 beta. You know,
So I can get
install that
watched
thing.
immediately? No, thank you. Thank you, Ronald. Thank you, Gotti. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate
Yeah,
everybody in the chat. Thank you.
look, I think with the movement, and I find Black Ops 6 way easier to just dominate than in Modern Warfare 3 and 2.
You're a very good
I mean,
player though.
I'm okay. But
No. No,
no,
you're
like
very good.
I had a match where like I didn't even realize it. And I think a lot of people might feel this way. I was playing the beta, I had like 45 kills. And I was like, really? I didn't even feel like I was killing like that, but I had 45 kills and like 9 deaths or something. It's just like when I have matches like that in Modern Warfare 3, I know I'm styling on people. Like I know I'm river dancing on people's face. But like in Black Ops, it just seems effortless. I think you do fine. You're a good first person shooter player. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Gregor says you would hate the First Descendant. I don't think so. One, I know Luca likes looking at beautiful things. So there's that. But I also think, but I don't know. You're kind of done with Destiny. You may not like the grind because this game definitely has a grind.
No, I mean, I actually don't mind repetitive grind as long as I find it engaging enough to keep my mind occupied. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's free, but it's free though. So you could just try it and see how you like it and go from there. And if you don't like it, just uninstall. It ain't cost you anything.
It's not a problem. You're right. Okay. Let's see here. So the top director at Bungie was fired after a misconduct investigation. So a veteran developer who worked on hit video game franchises Halo, Destiny, and was directing the next major title, Marathon, Chris Barrett, who was one of the top executives at one of the video game industry's leading studios, was fired this spring after he was accused by several female employees of inappropriate behavior. We gotta start jumping these folks. But anyway, behind the scenes, Barrett was terminated following an internal investigation in which at least 8 female employees raised complaints earlier this year. That he behaved inappropriately towards them, according to 8 people, including multiple women who reported Barrett, as well as the other Bungie employees. Well, yeah, of course, who were.
What did he do exactly?
I'm about to get there. I think either involved in the investigation or spoke to the women involved. The people asked not to be named, discussing private information. So this article is from Jason Schreier, Bloomberg. So the investigation found that Barrett called lower level female employees attractive. Okay, asked them to play some truth or dare. All right, made references to his wealth and power within the studio, suggesting that he could help advance their careers, according to 2 people familiar with the case. Um, Barrett said that throughout nearly 25 years, I feel that I've always conducted myself with integrity, and I've been respectful and supportive of my colleagues, many of whom I consider my closest friends. I never understood my communication to be unwanted, and I would have never thought they could possibly have made anyone feel uncomfortable. If anyone ever felt
What?
that way, I know, about their interaction with me, I'm truly sorry. If my fucking manager was like, "Hey, you wanna play truth or dare?" That doesn't
I'm
sound crazy
picking.
to you?
I'm picking. I'm picking truth, and then I'm making my own question: is why do you think this is appropriate in the workplace?
Like,
Like,
what?
what are you doing? Truth
Like,
or
why
dare at
exactly.
work? Get
Another
out of
thing, are
here,
we
yo.
16? Like, grow up, man. That's ridiculous, so, alright, let's see here. What else? He's just giving some more context. Okay, so stories shared with Bloomberg News from women involved or those who are familiar with the case all followed similar patterns. Barrett would befriend women at the studio in various departments and then send them a barrage of text messages that blurred the line between professional and personal. Um, in interviews, multiple women have reported who reported Barrett said the advances were unwanted and that they felt uncomfortable because Barrett was significantly more powerful than they were at the company. Texts reviewed by Bloomberg included flirtatious messages and requests to hang out with the women involved. I wish my fucking boss would ask me to hang out outside of work. I'd be like, "Are you crazy? Like, why would you ask me that, right?" But Bungie employees were not told the circumstances behind Barrett's departure. Members of his team were informed earlier this year that management that he was on sabbatical. His accounts were disabled. Okay. So yeah, like, I mean, what are we
So
thinking,
they were
guys?
embarrassed and got rid of him quietly, so as to not, because he's kind of embroiled in some other stuff that
Oh yeah,
happened some years back. Yeah. So remember, what's his name? Say no to rage. What's his name
no,
now?
no.
Lono. Yes.
His name is
Um,
still. I think it's still Say No to Rage. Just SNTR.
but his channel's different now. I can't remember
Bro,
the
I
name of
have
his
no
channel now.
fucking. I don't know.
But
What's Lono's channel's name, guys? What?
Reforge. That's it.
Oh,
Reforge.
there. Okay.
Yeah. So Christopher Barrett apparently was caught up in a lot of the circumstances that got him banned from Destiny, in light of other Destiny content creators making accusations against him, some of which turned out to be true, but some of which turned out to be overblown from what people are saying. But Christopher Barrett was kind of like instrumental in some of the things that were done to make sure Lono had no, like, basically was done with Destiny. And so it's just people are bringing that back up now that he turns out, it's just weird how this guy gets fired for sexual harassment when Reforge basically got banned for the same thing. So, not defending Reforge at all, because if, as he even admitted himself, some of it was true, that means you're just as guilty. Just because people took it too far doesn't make you any less, make you more innocent or any less guilty. That said, um, I don't stand for hypocrisy and hypocrites, and you got people out here like, oh, for shame, this man is just taking advantage of these women, and he's in the workplace doing the same exact thing. Like, yeah, of course, Bungie just said, we just gonna get rid of him quietly, because if it gets out public that this guy in particular was doing that, yeah, people are going to be definitely bringing up some of the stuff that happened just years past, and which happened anyway. So there you have
I
it.
think I think some people don't realize that they're predators, and others definitely do, right? But I think some people don't realize it, or they just forget, or they just don't seem to understand that their behavior is inappropriate. It's kind of like how, um, what's his name? Oh, it's kind of like how the Act Man was calling out people for being racist. and then people found his racist tweets, and then
Yep. Same thing.
and then someone called out the Act Man for being racist, and then someone found that person's racist tweets, and it's just kind of like it was just like a long line
Racist inception.
yeah, it was racist inception in which people were like, ugh, disgust. Oh, and then someone else called him out, right? And then that person also got exposed for some old racist tweets. And it just kind of makes me wonder. I'm like, so do you guys just not remember tweeting this? Like, do you not remember talking about this or saying this? It never makes sense to me. Like I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how you could forget something like that. Like, I remember all the terrible things that I've done, right? So I'm just kind of like, it was just so inconsequential, but it's also just very stupid because, like, for me personally, I would have like searched my Twitter first. I'm like, let me make sure I didn't say any of that crazy shit before I called the person out. Like
Maybe at my handle and the N-word. Oh boy. You're like, let me delete all this, then say what I have to say. Doesn't make you any less of a douchebag, but at least be a smart douchebag. And not, call out someone for being racist. And you've been saying the same thing, throughout your Twitter history. That's just not smart on your part.
It's just not very smart. Umbra's like raceception. Exactly. Raceception, Like, yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think that a lot of the times, again, these people just they either don't seem to realize that their behavior is predatory because they're delusional, or they're lying to themselves. Well, they're lying to other people, and they don't expect people to find out what they did, basically. They're omitting the truth. But yeah, again, me personally, I'm not calling someone out for something. If I did the same shit, I'd be like, let me mind my fucking business. I would just be like, let me just mind my business about this.
Do you think it's kind of like the mentality that people have where they look at like other people make really big mistakes and they say that could never happen to me? And so they don't even like think of doing like things we said, like searching their own Twitter history to see if they actually have done the same things, especially if you know that the mentality that the person that you're looking down upon is a mentality that you either currently have or a mentality that you used to have. Like, well, maybe, I don't remember every single tweet I've ever sent in word for word, line by line, but I know fairly certain that like I haven't been sending like racism against like Muslims or something like that on my timeline. So I wanted to worry about that. But at one point in time, I was saying things like that. But damn, before I call out this guy for being racist against Muslims, maybe I should just check something real quick. It's just like, they just don't think that, it's not going to happen to me. No one's going to check my timeline because I'm me.
Yeah, it's just very silly. It's very odd because it's just like we have seen multiple people get exposed for like the shit that they said in the past, and I'm just like, bro, like, delete your stuff. There was this I can't remember her name, but I saw this post where this chick, oh god, it was so fucking diabolical, dude. I was like, man, that's like awful but really smart. But this girl, she's a TikToker. I can't remember her name. But allegedly, right? Allegedly, she had it so screenshots of her racist tweets were what's that word? Where you can't like post copyrighted, something like that. So they were copywritten. I don't know. There was basically if you were to post them or talk about them, allegedly her lawyers were reaching out and being like, you can't talk about this because it's our copyright or some shit like that, right? And I was just like, if this is true, that's fucking genius. That's like extremely diabolically smart. Like,
I don't know if you can do that though. I don't know
yeah,
if that's like a legit copyright. Like you can copyright that.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm just like, damn. If that's true, that's super smart. Awful, but super smart. You know what I'm saying? So again, me personally, I when it comes to like certain comments, it depends on the nature of the comments, and also it depends on the person's age. I'm very forgiving of people who, if they were like teenagers, or yeah, if they were like teenagers when they were saying some crazy shit, it's like, well, teenagers they're stupid, so it's like whatever. And again, it depends on the context of what they were saying, right? But like, then we have people like James Gunn, who is like 55, 45, something like that, making the comments that he made. Now, other people may have forgotten and let that shit go because he's an excellent director and his films are very good. But I haven't forgotten. You know what I'm saying? So,
Isn't it odd how if you're talented, people will just excuse certain things? Because there was the director for the original Fox X-Men movies
oh yeah, I
that
remember.
turned out to be a real piece of garbage human being, and nobody let him get a pass on that. But also, no one really liked his X-Men movies like that. But
Bryan Singer? Is that his name?
Bryan Singer, that's it. Yeah. But James Gunn says, and the difference between Singer and Gunn is the Singer really his actions, not just
I mean,
his
yeah, he
words
he was
were
doing stuff. I mean, yeah, James Gunn
right.
was just yapping. He wasn't
Just
doing
yapping.
anything. So
But the thing is that we don't know. Like, if you're willing to say that kind of stuff publicly, then I would say that you're also probably willing to do similar things behind the scenes if you don't think anyone will find out.
yeah, but
But
at the same time, I feel like that would have come out when all those the several dozen text
true.
messages came out. I feel like there would have been people being like, "Oh, not only did he say this, he also did XYZ to me." You know what I'm saying? So I think his comments and jokes were extremely off-putting and vile, and the fact that he was so old making them is just very strange to me. But at the same time, he was also making those jokes, and no, I guess no one was saying anything to him at the time, so because he kept going, So I
Hmm.
don't know, man. I just think that Twitter was a very odd place back then. And it goes back to it's like the Chris Tyson situation, where that guy, oh Lord, what is that guy's name? Jake the Viking was making such a big deal out of Mr. Jimmy New. The silence is deafening, and then Jake the Viking's like brother-in-law is a registered
Offender. Yeah.
yeah, a registered offender, like on the registry. And Jake's like, well, I just didn't think it was I just didn't think it was relevant to the conversation. And it's just like, bro, like you can't go out of your way to. And also, if Jimmy knew, then you knew as well, and you didn't say anything, you fucking cuck. You're just as bad as the
Right. You
rest.
work there too.
You know, these
You're,
these
you're talking
people.
about in detail about how everyone knew this, but you're everyone. You're a part of everyone. Like, you work there too, so you're no different.
Exactly. It's like these people are just fucking delusional, man. They just don't seem to understand that they're part of the problem as well. Like, at least be self-aware. I just feel like it's like people are they lack self-awareness, but whatever. Um, okay, I think that's it. There's nothing else, right?
No, not that I can think of. Let me.
Oh, okay. Well, Yobi doesn't have any topics. He said just want to see you be great, be greater than the next day. Take your time to figure it out, and once you do, you will be unstoppable. We all love you and rooting for you, Luca. Woo, let's go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Uh, something just fall. Oh, you guys should go see Alien Romulus because that shit is excellent. Oh, that shit was so damn good. I really enjoyed myself. And like whether or not I enjoy an alien movie it's really up in the air because I think that shit is disgusting. I hate it. But at the same time, I am seated. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just there watching things come out of people. You know?
Hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to see it Monday, I think.
Yeah, I saw it with my brother and sister. It was really a very interesting experience actually, because my sister caught some foreshadowing that I missed, and then I was like talking about character dynamics, and then my brother's like, "I have no idea what either of you are even talking about right now," and it's just like, "Oh, okay." It's just fun, like the different ways everyone consumes media. So
Hmm.
very good film. But I guess that's it. Singer, where you been? Oh, he's been playing that COD fucking beta. I know it. I know it.
Or you
All
fell
right.
asleep.
Oh, he's definitely playing that COD beta right now because he told me he was like, "Yeah, Luca, I hopped on the beta," and then I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go do the show." I was like, "Ah, okay." But yeah, let's go ahead and do these outros. I don't think anything else happened this week. that's worth talking about or mentioning. Concord. I'm looking at my bookmarks right now because I always bookmark potential topic ideas. Yeah. No, let's see here. Mikey Barra made a comment on someone's post. Let's see here. Oh, he's talking to Tim Dog. He said, Tim said, it is what it is. Sony believes in exclusivity and it's because it works. It doesn't for Xbox now, so they go full slate. I can't blame Sony either because at least they believe in making its console a place where it gets exclusive stuff. And then Mikey Barra said, if your strategy is to win the living room, you need exclusive hits because winning is both a platform and games perspective. Sony knows how to make hits and how to pick the hits from others to be exclusive. If I was them, I would double down right now because the blood's in the water all over the place. He's like, hire me. Hire me. That's what he's saying right now. So, all right.
Basically. I did see something. I thought I saw something that said that he was working for like Prize Picks now as the CEO, which I don't know if that's true or not, but that's true. Good for him, I guess. You know, he's working, but it's not in gaming, which kind of would make sense if he had to kind of like sign some kind of non-compete after leaving Blizzard, that like he would do something that was not really non-gaming related until that non-compete was over. So I don't know.
Okay.
But I do think he definitely wants to work at Sony.
Oh, for sure. Okay, we can just get out of here. So, yeah, great show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Everyone who listens later, super chat support, member support. Thank you guys. Some of you want to do your outro?
Sure. Good show. You guys have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your games.
All right. Singer's playing the Black Ops beta right now, so maybe you guys were
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Were you asleep?
No, I'm not. No. I just have to take care of something.
Oh, okay. Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's okay.
Okay. I think you guys should check out a free run, Beyond Journey's End. It's an anime. It's very, very good. I just binged 28 episodes in like 2-3 days. Really, really good. Very introspective, and it really calls back into how when it comes to the medium of like storytelling, like fucking manga is where it's at. Manga and light novels, right? Because like over here, of course, there's people making original stories over here, obviously, right? But I feel like when it comes to like mainstream Hollywood, right? They're so like, oh, these ideas have already been used up. People have already seen this. We can't do anything new. We can't make anything new. Let's go ahead and make a bunch of remakes, right? I feel like for mainstream Hollywood, right? I'm not talking about like the smaller studios, indie studios, horror films, that kind of thing, right? But like when it comes to manga, because that series is 4 years old, right? It came out in 2020, and yet it's already one of the best pieces of media I've seen in quite some time. It's very good. And it just tells me like people, when it comes to quality storytelling and content, like there are so many people who are so creative out there that are still creating. And even like in the years to come, there will be more people coming out with very interesting and engaging stories, which like for me, as I've gotten older, like I know there's that concept of, oh, this back then, the stuff from my childhood is so much better, which the stuff from my childhood was extremely excellent, right? But when it comes to like music or movies or books and TV shows, people are very single-minded when it comes to that stuff, and there's always like, oh, this stuff's not as good as it was back in my day. And it's just like, no, there are like people who are genuinely talented creating very interesting stories every single year, you know? So it's just like I feel like people should be more open-minded because there's a ton of music that I like nowadays. There's a ton of media I like nowadays. And there's like I said, manga is always coming out with something fucking fire, dude. You know, that shit is it's a genuinely very good, very, very introspective. And I really enjoyed the characters. The character dynamics were excellent. The character of Frieren, she's wonderful. She's technically like a kudere, but she like grow. Like she has these significant moments of growth, which is so interesting because it's like she's so old in the series. Like she's like 1,000+ years old, right? So very good series. I really enjoy it. It's that concept of like what happens after the hero's journey, right? What happens after you defeat the big bad? You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, what is life after that? So it's very interesting. But anyway, yeah, I will catch you guys later.
Later. Peace.
Later.
Bye, everybody. And agreed, Lino. I agree. I agree with what you're saying.